March 8, 2014. Kuala Lumpur International Airport bustled with the usual pre-dawn energy. Among them were the 227 passengers and 12 crew members preparing to board Malaysia Airlines Flight 370. Their destination Beijing, China, a routine flight, an everyday journey. The Boeing 777-200ER stood gleaming under the runway lights. Engines roared, propelling the aircraft down the runway. It lifted into the darkness, the cityscape shrinking below. At 12:41 a.m., Flight 370 soared into the night. Their journey would soon become one of aviation's greatest mysteries. The first hour of the flight proceeded without incident. Outside, the sky began to lighten as dawn approached over the South China Sea. Inside, the cabin lights remained dimmed, allowing passengers to rest. Flight attendants prepared for the routine meal service. Their movements practiced and efficient, all appeared normal, the rhythm of the flight as predictable as a heartbeat. Then, silence. At 1:19 a.m., as Flight 370 approached Vietnamese airspace, air traffic controllers in Kuala Lumpur received the last message from the cockpit. "Good night, Malaysian 370, a calm voice, chilling in retrospect, echoed from the radio. These routine words were the last anyone would hear from the plane. The transmission ended abruptly, leaving behind an eerie void in the busy air traffic control frequency. Minutes ticked by, each one an eternity in the silent vacuum left by Flight 370's disappearance from radar. Air traffic controllers in Vietnam, expecting the routine handover from Malaysian airspace, searched their screens in vain. No transponder signal, no communication. Flight 370, once a blip of light representing hundreds of lives on a journey, had vanished. The digital map, moments ago alive with the trajectories of countless flights, now bore a chilling blank space where MH370 should have been. Confusion quickly morphed into dread as the realization of the situation unfolded. Air traffic control centers across Southeast Asia buzzed with urgency. Calls were made, messages relayed, yet the mystery deepened with every passing moment. Flight 370, a behemoth of metal carrying hundreds of souls, had simply ceased to exist, swallowed by the vast expanse of the night sky. The world held its breath. How could a sophisticated aircraft, equipped with multiple communication systems and tracked by radar, simply vanish without a trace? The stage was set for one of the most perplexing aviation mysteries of our time, a puzzle with seemingly no pieces, no witnesses, and no answers. The disappearance of Flight MH370 was not just an aviation disaster, it was a descent into the unknown, a chilling testament to the fragility of life and the enduring power of the unexplained. As the sun rose on March 8, 2014, a frantic search effort was already underway. Planes and ships scoured the South China Sea for the missing Boeing 777. Days stretched into weeks, hope fading with each passing hour. Families clung to the slimmest possibilities. The world watched, captivated by the mystery. A fragment of data hinted at the plane's fate. Satellite communications suggested Flight 370 had veered off course. The search moved to the Indian Ocean. The mystery deepened. Theories abounded, each more unsettling than the last. The world grappled with these questions. "12:41 a.m. Malaysia Airlines Flight 370 climbs into the night sky. 227 passengers, 12 crew members unaware of the darkness ahead. The hum of engines, quiet conversations, and anticipation blend into normalcy. Captain Zahari Ahmad Shah guides the aircraft through the pre-dawn darkness. His calm voice crackles over the radio. First Officer Farik Abdul Hamid performs his duties diligently. Passengers settle in, some reading, others sleeping. 12:42 a.m. to 1:01 a.m., Flight 370 reaches cruising altitude. City lights twinkle below. On board, the routine of air travel unfolds. Flight attendants prepare for meal service. Passengers chat quietly, unaware of the last moments of normalcy. 1:01 a.m. Flight 370 contacts Malaysian Air Traffic Control. The pilot's voice reassures those listening. All systems are functioning normally. The flight is proceeding as planned. Nothing hints at the terrifying silence ahead. 1:08 a.m. The transponder signal is last detected. This detail will become a chilling footnote. The plane, still soaring, has begun its descent into mystery. Section 2. Silence and Deviation. 1:19 a.m. The last words from Flight 370 crackle over the radio. Good night, Malaysian 370, a routine farewell, chilling in retrospect. The voice, calm and professional, betrays no hint of the nightmare unfolding. These words, meant to signal a smooth transition between air traffic control zones, will become the final message received from the vanished aircraft. 1:21 a.m. Flight 370 fails to make contact with Vietnamese air traffic control as scheduled. The expected handover, a routine choreography of aviation, is met with silence. Minutes stretch into an eternity as controllers search their screens, their eyes scanning for the blip of light that represents Flight 370. The blank space where the plane should be is a growing void, a silent testament to the unthinkable. 1:30 a.m. The silence from Flight 370 stretches from minutes into an agonizing half-hour. Concern morphs into alarm within air traffic control centers across Southeast Asia. Calls are made, messages relayed, each unanswered query amplifying the growing sense of dread. The unthinkable is becoming reality. A sophisticated airliner carrying hundreds of souls has vanished without a trace. 1:40 a.m. to 2 a.m. frantic efforts to establish contact with Flight 370 prove futile. The silence from the cockpit is absolute, a deafening void where there should be the reassuring hum of communication. Military radar, straining to pierce the darkness, offers a chilling clue. Flight 370, instead of continuing on its planned route towards Beijing, has inexplicably veered off course, turning west across the Malay Peninsula. The mystery deepens, the silence growing more profound with each passing moment. Section 3. Final Signals, Growing Dread. 2:15 a.m. The last faint whisper from Flight 370 is detected, not a voice, but a digital ghost. Automated signals from the plane's ACARs are picked up by a satellite over the Indian Ocean. These signals offer a tantalizing yet terrifying clue. Flight 370 has continued its westward track over the vast expanse of the Indian Ocean. 2:22 a.m. The final ACAR signal from Flight 370 is received. The data reveals the plane made a series of altitude changes before vanishing. These erratic movements paint a picture of a flight gone terribly wrong. 3 a.m. to 4 a.m. The realization that Flight 370 is missing begins to sink in. Families of passengers gather at airports clinging to hope. The world watches, captivated and horrified. 4:30 a.m. Malaysian authorities confirm that Flight 370 has lost contact. The eyes of the world turn to the southeast corner of the globe. The search for answers has begun, a desperate race against time. Section 4. The search begins. A world watches. 5 a.m. to 6 a.m. Dawn breaks over Southeast Asia, casting a golden light on a world grappling with the news of the missing plane. Search and rescue aircraft from Malaysia, Vietnam, and Singapore take to the skies, their crews scanning the waters of the South China Sea, following the plane's last known location before it veered off course. Hope, fragile and fading, hangs in the air as the world prays for a miracle. 6:30 a.m. The United States, recognizing the magnitude of the unfolding disaster, offers assistance to the Malaysian government. The FBI, with its expertise in international investigations, joins the search for answers, while the U.S. Navy dispatches ships and aircraft equipped with sophisticated sonar and surveillance equipment to aid in the search effort. The world is uniting, bound by a shared sense of urgency and a desire to bring closure to this tragedy. 7 a.m. news outlets around the globe provide non-stop coverage of the missing plane, the mystery of its disappearance capturing the attention of millions. Experts speculate, theories abound, but the truth remains elusive, hidden beneath a veil of uncertainty in the vast expanse of the Indian Ocean. The world watches, holding its breath, waiting for answers that may never come. 8 a.m. The families of those on board Flight 370, their faces etched with anguish and despair, cling to each other for support, their hopes dwindling with each passing hour. The world mourns with them, offering prayers and condolences, but words feel hollow in the face of such unimaginable loss. The disappearance of Flight 370 has become a shared tragedy, a stark reminder of the fragility of life and the enduring power of the unknown. The disappearance of Malaysia Airlines Flight 370 triggered one of the most extensive search and rescue operations in history. Time was of the essence. Every passing hour diminished hope. The initial search zone saw a flurry of activity. Ships and aircraft tirelessly scanned the horizon. The multinational effort drew resources from across the globe. Days turned into weeks, but the search yielded nothing. The vast ocean mocked the searchers' efforts. Families clung to hope, their hearts breaking with each passing hour. Analysis of faint signals revealed a chilling truth. Flight 370 had veered off course, disappearing into the southern Indian Ocean. The search for Flight 370 moved to the remote southern Indian Ocean, deploying advanced technology to scan the ocean floor, but the vast, unforgiving sea guarded its secrets jealously. Years of searching yielded fragments confirming the plane's fate but offered no answers, leading to dwindling international cooperation and rising speculation. A new science-driven approach using oceanographic modeling offered a glimmer of hope, but the vast, dynamic southern Indian Ocean posed immense challenges. The theory of a catastrophic mechanical failure faced scrutiny as the plane's deliberate flight path suggested a level of control inconsistent with such a scenario. The unsettling theory of pilot suicide gained traction, but the lack of motive and Captain Zahari's stable background left many questions unanswered. The hijacking theory, while plausible, lacked concrete evidence and credible claims of responsibility, leaving investigators with more questions than answers. The theory of oxygen deprivation explained the plane's eerie silence but faced challenges due to the lack of physical evidence and the plane's controlled flight path. The mystery of Flight MH370 remains unsolved, highlighting the limits of technology and the enduring power of hope and human resilience. The disappearance of Flight 370 left an unfillable void for the families, their grief compounded by the lack of answers and closure. The families of those lost on Flight 370 found themselves suspended in a state of ambiguous loss, a psychological purgatory where grief was intertwined with the torment of unanswered questions. The not knowing, the absence of a definitive answer, became a heavy weight to bear, a constant source of anxiety and despair. Their minds raced with possibilities, some plausible, some bordering on the fantastical, as they grappled with the unknowable. The lack of closure, the inability to say a proper goodbye, made it difficult for many to move through the stages of grief. The traditional rituals of mourning, the funerals, the visits to cemeteries, the sharing of memories, were denied to them, leaving them feeling adrift in a sea of uncertainty. Some families clung to hope, however faint, refusing to believe that their loved ones were truly gone. They scoured the internet for any scrap of information, latched onto conspiracy theories, and prayed for a miracle, their hearts refusing to accept the finality of silence. Others, consumed by anger and frustration, directed their rage at the airline, the Malaysian government, and anyone they perceived as having failed to find their loved ones or provide satisfactory answers. The psychological toll of the tragedy was immeasurable. Many families struggled with anxiety, depression, and post-traumatic stress disorder. Sleep became elusive, nightmares were haunted by images of the missing plane, and the world outside, once familiar and comforting, now felt threatening and unpredictable. Section 3. A Catalyst for Change. The disappearance of Flight 370, while a tragedy of unimaginable proportions, served as a harsh wake-up call for the aviation industry. The realization that a modern airliner, equipped with sophisticated technology and tracking systems, could simply vanish without a trace, exposed vulnerabilities in the global aviation network, and sparked a wave of reforms aimed at preventing a similar tragedy from ever happening again. One of the most significant changes involved the implementation of real-time tracking for commercial aircraft. The reliance on radar and periodic communication with air traffic control, as highlighted by the Flight 370 tragedy, was deemed inadequate. New regulations mandated more frequent and detailed data transmissions from aircraft, enabling airlines and air traffic control centers to monitor the location, altitude, and speed of planes in real time, reducing the risk of a similar disappearance. The tragedy also prompted a review of aircraft communication systems, particularly the emergency locator transmitters, or ELTs, designed to beacon a plane's location in the event of a crash. The investigation revealed that the ELT on Flight 370 had malfunctioned, highlighting the need for more reliable and robust emergency beacons. New standards were introduced, requiring ELTs with enhanced battery life, improved signal strength, and greater resistance to impact damage. Beyond technological advancements, the Flight 370 disappearance also led to improvements in pilot training and aviation safety protocols. Airlines implemented stricter screening procedures for pilots, increased focus on mental health awareness within the aviation community, and enhanced training programs to equip pilots with better decision-making skills in emergency situations. These changes, while they could not erase the past, aimed to create a safer and more resilient aviation industry. Section 4. A Legacy of Questions. The legacy of Flight MH370 extends far beyond the immediate impact on the families of those lost, and the reforms within the aviation industry. The mystery surrounding the plane's disappearance has captivated the world, sparking countless news articles, documentaries, and online forums dedicated to unraveling the truth. It has become a modern-day enigma, a chilling reminder of the limits of human knowledge and the enduring power of the unknown. Theories continue to circulate, each offering a possible scenario, yet none definitively solving the puzzle. Was it a mechanical failure, a pilot suicide, a hijacking, or something else entirely? The lack of a definitive answer has fueled speculation, spawned conspiracy theories, and left the world grappling with the unsettling possibility that some mysteries may never be solved. The enduring fascination with Flight MH370 speaks to a deeper human need to understand the world around us, to find order in chaos, and to seek closure in the face of loss. The mystery also serves as a reminder of the fragility of life, the unpredictable nature of our existence, and the haunting possibility that some answers may forever elude us. The search for Flight MH370, while officially suspended, continues in the hearts and minds of those who remain determined to find answers. Families of the missing passengers, some finding solace in their own investigations, continue to press for answers, demanding transparency from authorities and clinging to the hope that one day the truth will emerge from the depths, bringing them a measure of closure and finally allowing them to lay their loved ones to rest. Section 1. A Haunting Silence. The disappearance of Malaysia Airlines Flight 370 remains one of the most perplexing and enduring mysteries of our time. The silence from the cockpit, the sudden deviation from the planned course, the fruitless search efforts spanning vast stretches of the ocean all contribute to a haunting narrative that continues to grip the world's imagination. It is a story of unanswered questions, shattered hopes, and the enduring power of the unknown. Despite years of investigation, the deployment of cutting-edge technology, and the tireless efforts of search teams, the fate of Flight 370 remains shrouded in uncertainty. The lack of a definitive wreckage site, the absence of a clear motive, and the contradictory nature of the limited evidence have turned the search for answers into a frustrating and heartbreaking pursuit, leaving families grappling with the agonizing pain of ambiguous loss. Theories abound, each offering a possible scenario, yet none providing the definitive explanation that could bring closure to the families and solve the enigma that continues to haunt the aviation world. Mechanical failure, pilot suicide, hijacking, oxygen deprivation, all have been scrutinized, debated, and ultimately left unresolved. The truth, it seems, lies hidden beneath layers of speculation, misinformation, and the vast expanse of the ocean itself. The disappearance of Flight 370 stands as a stark reminder of the limits of human knowledge and the enduring power of the unknown. In an age where technology allows us to track almost anything in real time, the idea that a sophisticated airliner can simply vanish without a trace is a chilling testament to the fragility of our understanding of the world and the humbling realization that some mysteries may forever elude our grasp. Section 2. In Search of Closure. The search for Flight 370 continues, driven by families' determination and hope for closure. They believe the mystery can be solved and their loved ones laid to rest. Their resilience and advocacy for aviation safety are remarkable. They push for reforms to prevent similar tragedies. Support groups offer solace and shared determination. The tragedy has shown humanity's compassion and strength. Global support and dedication to finding answers continue. The search for truth and closure endures. Hope remains, inspiring the enduring human spirit.